Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another late night storage closet session. My name is Kiki, and today we're going to be talking about an album that dropped this past weekend, this past Friday. A collab album by Drake and PartyNextDoor. Some sexy songs for you, some shitty songs for you. NyQuil the album, Incels the musical. Any of those are fine nicknames for this album. So Aubrey and Jerron decided to drop some auditory litter on us for us to celebrate Valentine's Day with. And I think this album is very telling in regards to how tone deaf Drake is when it comes to not only what we want to hear from him, but his range as an artist. Does anybody actually like R&B Drake? Genuine question. I know that Kendrick said I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. When I sort of didn't interpret that as necessarily like I like R&B Drake, but I like Drake that makes party songs and not Drake that pretends to be gangster. There's people don't really like R&B Drake, right? I don't. I don't know. I'm not gonna speak for y'all, but I definitely don't want no R&B Drake. So let's just start off by going through the highlights of the album. Let's start off with the first song, CN Tower, which was a very boring intro, like Sleeper. What color is the CN Tower? The CN Tower is red tonight, like the text that I sent you from the bed tonight. What color is the CN Tower? The tower is green tonight, like the envy in people's eyes tonight. What, nigga, what are you talking about? You just saying stuff. Second song I want to talk about, Spider-Man Superman. Drake brings back his Captain Save-A-Ho persona, and very interestingly, he samples The Real Her from Take Care, which in my opinion is still his best album to this day. He gotta slip that nostalgia bait in there, sampling himself. I fuck with that. The song sucks though. Next song I want to talk about, Pimmy's Dilemma. Great song. No, it's a great song. Drake and PartyNextDoor are not on the song. They are not on the song. It's a great song. I don't know who Pim is. I've never heard of them, but they're great. Great song. No notes. Give me a hug. So I like to refer to this one as a mental breakdown in musical form, because it's not just the tone of the song that's extremely chaotic, but also the instrumentation of the song is very chaotic. He starts off the song by talking about how people want him dead. He they want to see Rip Me on a t-shirt like Hulk Hogan. Nobody wants you to die, nigga. Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants you to fucking die. They just want you to stop making music, or at least try to make good music. If the choices are Drake dies or Drake continues to drop auditory litter on us, then maybe. But like, ain't nobody asking you to fucking die, nigga. Shut the fuck up. Then he goes into this, dissing his ops, but not saying their names. Make sure that you do not say their names. He wants you to make sure that he knows who you're talking about, but he's not gonna say who they are. He's not gonna say their names like they the motherfucking boogeyman. He's not gonna say Joe Budden, but he gonna say Melissa Ford, you a legend from the six. Shame you working with a dick sucker or some shit like that. But he not gonna say Joe Budden. Then he calls out his friends. 21 Savage, I love you. I want to touch your butt. I want to kiss you on the lips. Savage, you the only one that checked on me when the whole world turned against me. I'm trying not to hate. I just had to listen to this album twice, and it's just weighed on me. Like really, really, like it was really hard to get through. It's 21 songs, and I'm not gonna go through all 21 songs. I'm just gonna go through the ones that I think are important to the point that I'm gonna try to make. And then after he sneak disses ops, he begs strippers to give him hugs. I miss you hoes. Give me a hug. And then the beat flips into this like early 90s R&B boy group type shit. I love you. This could have just been two different songs. I don't know what the thinking was going into making this one long song. Like, oh, beat switches, we need those. We don't. It could have just been two separate songs. The first beat switch was fine. The second beat switch made no fucking sense. That could have just been a separate song. Meet Your Padre. Okay, this song, I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. This was the only song I could not listen to twice. I could and not only was this the only song I could not listen to twice, but when I was listening to the album the first time and I got to this song, I straight up had to take a break. Like I was like, once this song was playing, I was like, I can't finish the album tonight. I'm gonna have to come back in like 24 hours or something like that because this song is way too much. He's speaking Spanish. I don't know who the feature is, but why did you do that? Why did you want to be on the song? The song feels like a run-on sentence. Like you feel like the song is just going too long and it's too boring. This one was just like this is definitely the worst song on the album. That's I've seen a lot of people's ranking of the songs on the album, and multiple times I've seen that this is the worst song, and it is. I could not listen to this song twice. It's unbearable. Now, Nokia, this song had potential, but there were two problems with it. One is that Drake was doing it. And I'm not saying like, oh, I fucking hate Drake. He can't make no good music. I mean, like, this does not sound like it should have been a Drake song. Like, if somebody else had done this song, it just didn't fit him. It didn't make any sense for him to be doing it. This song had a lot of potential though. And then the second half of the song, it really like lost me. Like the first half of the song, tons of potential. Second half of the song, lost me. Baby girl, can we get me do a twirl? I don't know. I think that was Party doing that. I don't feel like I remember Party sounding like that, but that was really cringe. And then like this Drake's whole like my love part of the song was super cringe. The song was so close. It was so close to being a good song, but they lost me on that one. Die Trying. I don't understand what was happening here. It was like an acoustic guitar. It was like some plain white tease ass beat. It almost sounded like Wagwan Delilah was like the preface to this song. There I have seen a lot of people say that they like this song. I'm not there with you. I don't get it. It's very like I don't understand this song sonically for Drake. Uh Celibacy. This song it makes me really uncomfortable because it's dead ass just like a song where Drake is begging a girl to have sex with him. And he even says how long that she has not had sex. And says, "Can you please break this streak for me? Please, 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 please. I promise I'll do it right." Why are you counting how long this woman has not peak incel behavior? Glorious. It's a sexy drill song that samples Ice Spice. and then sort of flips into a UK sexy drill song, and he starts rapping in like a UK accent. I feel like this song was probably like old. It's the fact that he sampled Ice Spice and not like her singing, but like her like just talking that made me, because they don't I feel like I remember that they were not on good terms. Like they kind of like stopped talking to each other. So why are you putting her on this song? Um I don't know. Drake just cannot stop like harassing women, I guess. I don't know. Maybe she said that she was okay with it, but he was I didn't understand this one here. And then the very last song was Greedy. And there's nothing particularly interesting about this song. It's just the fact that it was the last song and it was so boring that I didn't realize that it was the last song. Cause it was like, this is really how you're gonna end the album. It just ends like that. It's not like no kind of, it just ends. Okay. So now that I went through the highlights of the album, the highlights of the album, I want to pose a question. Who is this for? Who is you? The album's title is Some Sexy Songs for You. It's an R&B album. I'm sure that you're probably thinking it's for Black women. But Black women, he kind of like abandoned that fan base around Scorpion. So it's like, who is you? Not only did he abandon that fan base, but in his like little press tour that he's been doing, he hasn't been going into any spaces where Black women uh come together, where they hang around, where they, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Somebody gonna tell me in the comments. Congregate. That's what I was looking for. He's not going to no spaces where Black women congregate. Black women ain't watching Aiden Ross. Black women ain't watching XQC. So who is this album for? Who is you? My suspicion is that this album is for exactly who he's been promoting it to, who exactly the spaces that he's been going to. This is an album for incels. This is Incels the Musical. He's not talking about sex in a sexy way. He's not talking about women in a loving way. This not only tells me that like who this album is for, but also that male R&B is really on life support, and this shit might be the flatline. Male R&B might have just flatline with this album. If I have straight up seen men say that this album is good, that this is a good R&B album, you're the problem. If you think that this is a good R&B album, you are the problem, and you probably are bad at sex. That's all I'm gonna say. This is not even an R&B album, really. It's like kind of rap, kind of R&B. What happened to I Ain't Too Proud to Beg? What happened to In Between the Sheets? What happened to that? This is what y'all consider a good R&B. Bitches not bumping this in their car. They not. This is not for us. This is for the single white male that's alone on Valentine's Day. This is for the man that got rejected by his crush. This is for the nice guy. This is for the guy that's giving the woman that he likes presents and spoken to her and been there for her and thinks that that means that she owes him sex. That's who this album is for. With that being said, I'm gonna offer Aubrey Graham some advice. Kill yourself. But seriously, I find it very strange that he is still interested in releasing new music. He could just release a greatest hits album and do a final victory lap and then just become a full-time gambling streamer. But if you actually do want to keep releasing new music and you want people to like it, I don't think that hopping trends is viable at your age. Not only at your age, but at this point in your career. You are way too late in your career to be hopping, to be like fucking trend hopping. Just drop a record full of timestamps and songs about your mom. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If I was to list my top 5 Drake songs, 2 of them would be songs about his mom. Look What You've Done and You and the Six are my top 5 Drake songs. I think that's where he's really good at, is just talking about how much he feels bad about how bad he was to his mom. It's very introspective for him to admit that he wasn't the best son, because it's true, probably. So yeah, that's my advice for Drake. The album. Oh, let me give the album a rating. I'll give this album a 2 out of 10. I would not recommend listening to it. It's really long. I would recommend, you know what? That's not true. I would recommend listening to Pimmy's Dilemma. I would recommend listening to that. Besides that, I don't think the album is really worth listening to, especially spending an hour and a fucking half on this album listening to it. Absolutely not. You could just go listen to the Weeknd's album. And Drake, if you don't want to take my advice, that's totally fine. You could always just kill.
I'm hating way too hard.